of her life. The first of these four encounters in John chapter 20 is with Simon Peter and the beloved disciple. The whole coming to the empty tomb of Mary of Magdala has been beautifully reworked. Sure, Mary of Magdala comes to the tomb while still dark and finds the stone moved from the tomb, but there's no angel or heavenly messenger. Instead, she goes and tells Peter and the beloved disciple, "They've taken the Lord out of the tomb. We don't know where they've put him." They, the Jewish authorities, of course. Now, all that the beloved disciple needs to know, that the Lord is risen, is there before his eyes. He comes to the tomb and he sees the burial clothes, but there's no body. Lazarus came out from the tomb, bound hand and foot. Jesus left those same sort of burial clothes behind. He doesn't need them, he's not there. And so the beloved disciple saw and believed. His deep knowledge and love of Jesus assures him that Jesus is alive. Peter doesn't yet grasp what happens. The second encounter is with Mary of Magdala. And here we have a beautiful image from Giotto, and it's a famous scene. Noli me tangere, don't touch me. It's something Jesus says in this story, and it's been depicted by artists across the ages. And this is the story now. And next, we should know this, next to Peter, James, John and Judas, Mary of Magdala is the most frequently mentioned disciple. And in this scene, she comes into her own. Mary returns to the tomb after talking to the beloved disciple and Peter for a second time. And she meets now two angels. She is weeping. So Gregory the Great, commenting on this scene around the year 600, says this: "Because of the ardent love of her heart, Mary continued seeking him when she could not find him, even after the other disciples had gone away. In tears she kept searching, and afire with love she kept yearning for him. Thus it happened that she alone saw him." Jesus asks Mary, "Woman, why are you weeping? Who are you looking for?" Gregory comments, "Outwardly it was he who was the object of her search, but inwardly it was he who was teaching her how to search for him." We can't help but remember the beautiful dialogue between Jesus and the Samaritan woman. Perhaps we remember also the last time Jesus asked the question, again in the garden, this time Gethsemane, "Who are you looking for?" So the scene we see now is full of poignancy, and then Jesus calls her by name, and immediately she recognizes him. His voice is enough. She knows he's there. She believes. In a really remarkable way, the Good Shepherd calls his own by name. They know the voice of the shepherd. Jesus tells Mary, "Don't cling to me." Noli me tangere in Latin. Life isn't as it was before, Mary. Indeed, I'm going to dwell in a new way with all my beloved disciples, deep in their hearts, through the gift of the Spirit. Michael Fallon translates this particular thing well. "Don't cling to me as though I have not yet ascended to the Father." And he continues, "Go to my brothers and say, I'm ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." A new world is dawning. We are all brothers and sisters in Jesus, and we now share in the unique, intimate relationship Jesus has with his Father. This is the new covenant. Mary of Magdala went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." The beloved disciple was first to believe. Mary is first to proclaim. We probably do think of those two disciples on the road to Emmaus, who also proclaimed the risen Lord, their hearts burning within them, as Mary's must have been within her. What Mary needed to believe was a word of love, her name spoken by the Lord. The third encounter in John chapter 20 is with the disciples. And this is John's wonderful account of the climax of the Lord's hour, of his glorification. His ascension to the Father is, in a sense, his return to the beloved disciples with the gift of the Spirit. For St. John, the gap between Easter and Pentecost collapses. The resurrection is the ascension, is Pentecost. Indeed, we read this gospel passage from John at both Easter and Pentecost. "Peace be with you," he says. The disciples are filled with joy. The great gifts to us from the risen Lord are always peace and joy, exactly as Jesus had promised us in the Last Supper. Peace is my gift to you, and my own joy will be in you, and your joy will be complete. Then he breathed on them and said, "Receive the Holy Spirit." Jesus breathes on them. So we think, don't we, of God breathing the breath of life into the first human being, Adam, back in Genesis chapter 2. Perhaps also we think of Ezekiel, where the Spirit is, God is breathing, and Wisdom chapter 15, God breathes a living Spirit in them. This now is a new creation with Jesus breathing. Teilhard de Chardin spoke of a new phylum within the human race, within humanity, within its evolution, and the phylum is Spirit-filled people. As the Father sent me, so now I send you. We have a mission from the Lord, to live a life of love, and by doing so, revealing God's love to our world. You might ask, why is the forgiveness of sin so central to our mission? When we do mission well, many will be attracted to us, but many will be challenged, and perhaps, as for the Lord himself, will become hostile. And we understand as sin is when we lose all belief. We don't have belief. And we must also remember that all the two great sacraments of the Church, all are about the forgiveness of sin, baptism and the Eucharist. His blood